นกดูในไลน์ส่วนตัว34 เชนโอเคเฟซบุ๊กมาแล้วสวัสดีครับอาจารย์ครับผมครับผม
Hello, welcome to another Dhamma meeting where we will discuss the Buddhist practices of charity, morality, and meditation. Everyone who is interested is welcome to join. And our first participant for today is Claudia Schwiener. Hi, Claudia. I hope you sound okay. Can you speak? Cannot hear you again. I'm not sure what's wrong. Let me check with Professor Ken whether his microphone is working or not. Just Professor Ken, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ajaan.
Something wrong with Claudia's microphone. We cannot hear her. So I don't know. You have to try something.
Claudia told me yesterday she had some trouble with her headset, so
Yeah,
not sure what's wrong.
it could be anything. So I cannot. Well, I hope you can come back and try again later. Okay, Claudia?
Yet?
Oh, yeah, okay now.
Is it possible?
Yeah, it's good now. Can hear you now. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon from Switzerland, Hanacha, and I'm glad to be here today. So far, everything is going okay. I had a quite bad infection with the bladder, but I'm on recovery now.
Yes, good. The goal of the mind is to remain calm, not disturbed by whatever's happening.
Yeah.
So try to use either mindfulness or wisdom to teach the mind to let go of everything.
Yeah.
Because
It was quite.
Because you cannot control them in the end.
Yes, it was really painful. It was really very painful, but I really tried to maintain my meditation. And I also used guided meditation, at least to meditate and to accept it as it is. Was quite painful.
Yeah, if you can accept them, then it's only how painful. It's only the physical pain that you have to endure, but you will not produce any mental pain.
Yeah.
So the mental pain is much more stronger than the physical pain.
Exactly, because when it comes to aversion, oh, I don't want to have this pain, it's more painful, yeah.
That's right. So
Yeah.
you have to try to prevent this aversion from happening.
Yes. And
Right.
yesterday, Kenneth, my husband, and I went to the Dhammatalk monastery. I had birthday, and it was my deepest wish, no matter if I have this infection or not, to go to the monastery. And we did a dana for the renovation of the monastery, and this gave me a really good feeling. So yeah, it was very nice to be there. I didn't want to have any big birthday party. It was much more meaningful to me to go to the monastery and give some dana, because they renovate the monastery inside, and I thought this made more sense.
It gives you a better feeling of happiness also from giving than celebrating. You might get
Yes,
a good feeling from celebrating briefly, and then it's gone. But the feeling of giving dana can last longer and give you a sense of fulfillment also.
exactly. It was very nice, and I feel very grateful that this monastery is not, it's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours by train from Basel, but it gives me a very good feeling that I can go there and that I have
มั
good
นมี
Dharma
โล
friends
พลัง
like
งานแล้วก็มี
Kenneth,
โพ
and
ลิสอะไรอย่างเงี้ย
I feel very grateful for
แนว
this.
Yes, it's good to be near a monastery
Yeah.
where you can have your refuge.
Yeah.
Okay, you have any question?
Not now, and thank you so much for all the good Dhamma talks. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Next, Philip from Malaysia.
Good evening, Ajaan. Don't have any questions, particular questions tonight. I'm just with my practice, there's a slight agitation in my sitting, but I think that's because I've been traveling for work the last 2 weeks, so nothing to be concerned. Now I understand why you don't want to move from a particular spot. Um, you know, you have been always saying that, I don't want to move from a particular spot. Now I understand why. But nothing of a concern.
Yeah, your mind is always craving for something.
Yeah.
It's not contented yet.
Yeah.
So you have to use the practice to keep the mind contented.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, I was traveling for work, and although I was also practicing while I came back to the hotel or whatever it is, but after coming back, the sitting is not as long. There's like agitation there, but yeah, I think this could be it's expected. I think
It's a sign of your mindfulness is not strong enough. You haven't maintained your mindfulness, so you have to regenerate your mindfulness in order to be able to control your mind. Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll go to Professor Ken again. Professor, you have any question?
Good afternoon, Thana Ajaan. No question, just I was away last week, back home to Scotland to see my mother who's needing some care. So she's 90. She's now in a care home surrounded by other people, about 80s and 90s. So I was able to see the way the things go. And I felt quite calm in the situation. And felt that the practice was helping to deal with that quite well. So thank you, Thanajan.
Okay. We have to accept the truth of the body. It's going to get older and older every day. And eventually it's going to stop functioning. But the mind doesn't go, we still continue on. The mind is a different part of the body. It's not part of the body, actually. So we have to look after the mind to make it peaceful and not be afraid. If it knows exactly what's going on, it won't be afraid of anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Thanajan.
You're welcome. Next, Daniel Wood. Hi, Dan. This is your first time with us.
Yes, it is. I found you through Clear Mountain
Seattle.
online. Seattle, yes. I'm not at Seattle, but I joined the Sangha online and was referred to you in terms of getting some help one-on-one in my practice. I haven't really formulated a question. I'm just trying to gather how you teach. I find that when I first got introduced to Buddhism about a year ago, in a real way, I started reading the Suttas and Majjhima Nikaya straight, direct, and there was so much reference to jhana practice. But then when I started listening to teachers, that didn't seem to be very prevalent in their teachings. And so maybe I can ask the question, well, I dove into trying to do jhana practice on my own and found it to be quite accessible and very, very nice. And so I was wondering what your stance is on the importance of jhana practice with reference to Vipassana. Thank you.
Well, it's very important because before you can practice Vipassana, you need to have jhana first to support. You need the strength to be able to stop your mind. When you study Vipassana, you'll see that the cause of your dukkha comes from your cravings. And you have to stop your craving when they come up if you don't want to have any suffering. But if you don't have jhana, you won't have the strength to stop your cravings. So
thank you.
Jhana is very important. But before you can get to jhana, you need mindfulness. You have to develop mindfulness all day long. From the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. Try to control your thoughts. Stop thinking. Keep your mind in the present. Don't let it go into the past or the future. Only thing when you really have to. And then when you have free time, just sit and meditate for jhana. Before you go to Vipassana, you have to develop strong jhana first.
Yes, that's been my sole practice. Well, in the efforting of jhana, mindfulness. Yes, that is where most of my effort is being put into. Trying to. I find that the mornings I've devoted all the morning to practice, but in the afternoon, as I do some work, my mindfulness waxes. It kind of subsides substantially. So that's where I have to do a lot of my effort.
Yes. So mindfulness is the key for you to get to jhana. And how strong your jhana is depends on how strong your mindfulness is.
Right. I don't think I'm quite getting into even the first jhana, but approaching it. There's a lot of sukha and pleasure there that I'm finding, and that really sustains the practice. Coming back to it and devoting a lot of time to it, in the mornings, and also reading and contemplating has been very, very helpful. But yes, mindfulness, you're absolutely right. I do not sustain that throughout the day.
Yes, eventually you would want to do nothing but mindfulness, because you find that this is the most important factor in order to develop your mind toward freedom from suffering.
Yes, yeah. It's starting to erode my draw to the world. As I've really set up a life of reclusivity and minimize engagement with the world, but the mind is still wanting distraction and stimulation, especially in the afternoons. So yes, that's where the struggle is.
Because sensual pleasure is one of the hindrances,
Yes.
one of the
Well,
five hindrances.
Entertainment is very
entertainment.
difficult. Yes.
Yes. Anything sensual, anything that you observe through your sensual organs, your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body.
Especially the mind, documentaries and things of that nature, knowledge. I just love it. I'm an engineer, so yeah. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, if you want to advance in your meditation, you have to give up those sensual activities. So there's a trade-off, you have to give up one thing in order to get another thing.
To get something better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the story about the tea cup containing old tea. If you want new tea, you have to throw away your old tea in the cup.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's crazy how the mind works. I know this, and when I do it, I'm always happy, but there's some struggle in the evening, in the night. There's no struggle in the morning, but certainly in the evenings after I've been actively using my mind.
Yes, it will be your goal. Your next goal is to be able to practice in the afternoon also.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it for now, but I appreciate all the input. Thank you.
You want to know anything about Vipassana or wisdom?
Sure, whatever you have to offer, I would love to hear it.
Well, wisdom or Vipassana is to study the nature of things that closest to you, that you're attached to, that they are all impermanent, that one day you want to have to lose them all, whether it's external possession or whether it's your body, your feelings, your emotion. These are all changing, that you cannot cling to them and expect them to give you happiness all the time. Sometimes they change from good to bad. Sometimes you have good feeling, sometimes you have bad feeling. Sometimes you have painful feeling, sometimes you have pleasant feeling. And this is something that you have to learn to cope with, to accept them for equally, not to have any aversion or attraction toward them. You need equanimity to do this, equanimity from the fourth jhana. To be able just to be merely observing or knowing and not reacting to all the things that keep changing around you, inside you, your body, everything keep changing.
Yes. I think the struggle is in those moments where I could be drawn to mental stimulation in terms of entertainment or documentaries or just knowledge. There is this temporary cessation of that desire, but there is the ignorance of not seeing that it's only temporary and ultimately leading away from liberation. I acknowledge that it's just difficult, sometimes in those moments.
Yes, not to attach to them and not to indulge in them. It's better to have nothing, enjoy, be with emptiness. Emptiness is the real thing.
So for the advanced practitioner, is a lifestyle such that whenever there is free time, which pretty much can be anything if one is retired, they're constantly in meditation? Is that the lifestyle that one would adopt?
Yes, basically you would not want to deal with anything or anybody. You want to be able to exist without having to rely on anything, even your own body.
Okay, so there's really no room for entertainment of any sort.
Once you have jhana, you don't need any entertainment.
Yeah,
You have better form of entertainment.
Yeah.
That's why you need to develop jhana first, in order for you to be able to give up all other entertainment.
And what about interacting with friends that are not on the path? I feel an obligation. There's not a desire to, but I feel an obligation to, because it makes them happy.
If you can make them happy, sure, you can always interact with them. But if they're not interested in what you have to offer, then you will have to stop interacting with them.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've introduced it to. I only have a couple of friends, but they're really not interested.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hate to say, well, I can't interact with you. I suppose there's a wise way of saying that. That's not so
It's not
harsh.
by not saying anything, just doing it by not seeing them.
Yeah, they complain that I don't reach out and reach out to them.
Yeah, because you're reaching inside yourself. Tell them that.
Yes, the height of my practice, such as it is so much better than anything in the world. So I just do not want to interact with them, So, but it feels very selfish and maybe goes against Dana, generosity of my time. So that too is a paradox, I suppose.
Not really. There's time for charity and there's a time for selfishness also.
Okay.
You have to go to sleep, right? Sleeping is selfishness, right? But it's okay. It doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, I've managed this area of my life by only allowing a certain time, to do that. So I only like interact at a certain time. I let them know that this is my schedule, and they've accepted it. So it's only a couple people, so it's not. And my mother, of course.
Yeah, there's a time for everything.
There's a time for everything.
Time for giving and a time for looking after yourself, looking after your mind.
Okay.
You just have to know how to arrange them, prioritize them.
Yes. Okay. I don't want to dominate this session, so
no problem.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Where are you from? New York?
I'm in Southern California.
Oh, I see. Okay. LA, Los Angeles area? Or?
I'm in Orange County, here just south of Los Angeles. Okay. Yeah, I'm about 2 hours away from Ajaan Suchart
San
monastery.
Diego. San Diego.
Yeah, a couple hours from there. Yes.
You're close to Disneyland. Huh?
Yes, actually, I am. Speaking of distraction.
Okay.
But yeah,
nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
Always can come in anytime you like if you have any question.
I certainly will. Thank you. Oh, okay. just as a matter of protocol, if I do join, am I obligated to ask a question, or
you can join and listen in, or you can ask question, anything. There's no rule here.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay. You're welcome. Next, Kok Sing from Singapore.
Yeah, good evening, Ajaan. No questions at the moment. Yeah, I need to recharge my energy today.
Okay. Go to Alvin from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur.
Namaskar, Ajaan. Yeah, I just want to share with you in terms of your whatever you upload in your page. This Ajaan Suchart's biography. I find it very interesting, amazing that he has got so much energy. You know, when he was a young monk, and how he gave up. I find it really amazing, Ajaan. Thank you. Thanks for the uploading of the story. Thank you.
Okay. I'll go to Chen then. Hi, Chen Xiao Shun.
Yes, good evening, Ajahn. Could I ask some questions?
Are you Nigel?
Yes, Nigel. I
Okay.
cannot change my name. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah. So I've read a sutta in which there was the time of the wheel turning monarch, and after the wheel turning monarch died, and his sons become a successor, but he did not follow the qualities of the will of his father, and so during his time of ruling, there was a man stealing others' property, and then another man saw this and he accused that man of stealing, and then to the king, and the Buddha um, classify this as divisive act. So why is this so? Because so when we are and we see someone doing something wrong, so shouldn't um we let it come under the light?
Well, it depends. It depends on whether it's your duty or not to do so, to report. If it's not your duty, then it's better just to leave things alone.
Okay.
Because it can become harmful to you.
Mm-hmm. So is this classified as divisive chatters according to your definition?
Divisive chatter. Yes.
Divisive language, yeah.
Yeah, causing division, causing hatred, maybe between you and the person accused.
Okay, so another question is about the in our Buddha's last life as a bodhisattva, and he donated his children and wife to others. So some people will think that there's some bad karma within it because it is against the will of his children. What is your view about this? Thank you.
Well, a bodhisattva is a special person, and some of the things he does is very extreme for ordinary people like us to be able to appreciate, to understand. So like I say, just don't worry about him, worry about you.
Oh, I see. So if I am in a position of bodhisattva, so if I do this, is it appropriate?
You know it when you get there.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Is that all?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I think you should be more concerned about what's happening to you now rather than about other people. Can you calm your mind? Can you keep your mind from thinking? This is more important. Can you find happiness within yourself yet? You know, this is more important work for you to do. which is mindfulness and meditation, really. You have studied too much suttas already, and instead of helping to calm your mind, it's creating more agitation for you. So I don't think you need to know all these suttas. It's better just to know how to meditate.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, Rohini from the UK.
Good evening, Ajahn. No question. I'm just listening and paying my respect to Ajahn.
Are you still studying the suttas, or you
No,
start?
well, no.
You don't need
Ajahn
to now.
teaching, no, no. Ajahn teaching helped me to keep my mind calm and not to worry about things, and so I'm actually now more focused on developing mindfulness. So I still read, but not suttas, but I just read Ajaan's Dhamma books. And
Yeah, read about practices.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, not suttas, So I'm learning more from Ajaan's teaching the Dhamma books. So yeah, and focus on developing my mindfulness. Yeah.
Yes, the goal is to get to jhana. That's what you.
Yeah.
That's
Can
the
I
source
just
of happiness.
can I just confirm something? In Vipassana, in this physical world, the smallest Ajahn, I think in one of the Dhamma teaching, the smallest particle, basically everything is made of, in Pali, Patavya, Tejo, Vayo. So they are in constant change. The smallest particle, basically everything is made of, is constantly changing very fast. When someone is in jhana and strong jhana, like fourth jhana, with that concentrated mind, can you see that continuous change of that within a person? Or
No, you don't see anything. When you're into jhana, you enter into emptiness. Yeah. So you don't see
empty.
anything. You only see things when you come out of jhana, and then you start to see the changing nature of things.
Then you had to focus on change into vipassana and just focus with.
When you're ready to go into vipassana, when you have strong enough jhana equanimity, then you can go on and then study the changing nature of people and things around you first.
Okay. Yeah.
Teach your mind not to be attached to them, because they can be gone any day, any time, and they are not under your control all the time.
Yeah,
so,
that is answer.
So you can stop your craving for wanting them to be with you all the time.
Okay.
And when they happen to leave you or disappear from you, then you won't be sad, because you know this is what's going to happen, and you're ready. You're no longer attached to them. Once you are able to get rid of your attachment to the external things, then you have to come and give up the thing closest to you, which is your body and your feeling and your emotion. They are also constantly changing.
Okay, Ajahn. Thank you very much. Thank you. So at the moment, I'm just focusing on developing strong mindfulness and
yes, get into samadhi, appana samadhi.
Yeah.
Stay there for as long as possible, and be in the practice this many times a day until your mind is constantly calm, whether you're in or out of samadhi.
Okay.
Then you can then move on to vipassana and deal with the thing that's causing you suffering. Are you still worried about something? You can get rid of this worry by using Vipassana, by seeing the three characteristics of the nature of things in everything. You can see everything as anicca, anatta, then you know your dukkha comes from your attachment, or you not seeing them as such.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, outsourcing from Malaysia. Turn on your microphone.
Good evening, Ajahn. I still
Yes.
carry on my self-retreat at home.
Uh,
Then on Friday, I did the 6-hour same spot meditation.
challenge.
Yeah,
Sitting, stay in one spot.
sitting, but I did a break of 20 minutes of standing on the same spot. Must I do 6 hours of sitting alone?
How do you find it to be? Good?
It's good, but
calming your mind.
I think the Samadhi gets deeper and deeper. But the last 20 minutes, I couldn't focus on my breath. Then I went to chant Buddho, Buddho, Buddho. May I ask a question?
Sure.
I did 20 minutes of standing meditation on the spot in between. Is that okay? Or must
Yes,
I do all?
you can stand or sit, but you stay in the same spot.
Same spot.
The goal is to keep your mind from running here and there. Your mind wants to go here, go there, come back and go back, do this and do that. So you want to curb this cravings by forcing it to stay in one place. By using mindfulness, meditation, or wisdom, if you can.
I find that after my toilet break once, twice, the minute I sit down, my Samadhi continues after the toilet break.
This will force you to do more practice. You have no excuse to do anything.
I still carry on.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Thank you, Ajahn, for your guidance.
You're welcome. Next, Aparachita from Dubai.
Good evening, Prajan.
How's your monastic life? Good?
How's my monastic life?
Solitude life in solitude. You
Yes.
live in solitude now, isn't it?
Yes, I live on my own, yes. And
Okay.
it's not very monastic. I mean, I still do interact with people.
Okay.
I'm trying to just eat one meal a day because I'm actually finding it quite healthy. So it
Good.
makes me feel lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it also brought up something which I hadn't experienced before, which was like a hunger out of agitation. Because like I knew in the evening, I was like a bit like distracted and I really wanted to eat something. So I guess I hadn't experienced that before, but it was an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, you have to deal with it by meditation if you can.
Yes.
Go meditate.
Yeah, so I didn't deal with it through meditation the first day or so because I was like, okay, just let me drink some green tea. That's what I did. But then I realized that that's a pattern. So I'm trying, but it's something I've recognized, which I don't think I had felt before. I thought I was okay with food. I can go without food. But when there's a restriction, it's the mind plays up.
Yes. Good.
So,
Good
yeah.
to contain your defilement in any way you can.
Yeah, so that was one. But other than that, yes, I'm just...
Because our goal is to get rid of all the defilement. It's a
Yes.
defilement that's causing us all the trouble.
Yes.
So once there are no defilement, then your mind will be peaceful and contented.
And Rajan, I guess these defilements they only get eroded through time and consistent practice, right?
They get eroded by not doing
Feeling.
them, when not doing them. Every time they want to have a cup of tea, you just stop not
say
doing
no.
it, then say no until eventually it will come back. Because he knows that you cannot get it anywhere, because every time you tell it, you say no.
Right, right. And so that first no will be like this thing, and then slowly, slowly it will calm down.
But to make it permanent, you need to look at it with wisdom that
Right.
drinking this tea is like being addicted to them. And when you want to drink, and if you cannot drink, it can cause you suffering, mental suffering. So if you don't want to have any mental suffering from drinking the tea, then stop drinking it, because the tea is not permanent. Sometimes you might be able to have it, and sometimes you might not be able to have it. So if you see the three characteristics in a tea, then you say, oh, it's better not to rely on the tea to give you pleasure. And then you can stop it permanently this way. You have to see the suffering inherent in drinking tea.
Mm.
It's like another form of addiction, really. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You're addicted to it. See?
Yeah.
And when you want to drink and you cannot get it, then you have suffering.
So I'm kind of overtaken by that, whatever, that not getting what I want problem.
That's right, yeah.
Yes.
So try to strike down all the things that you want, because they can cause you unhappiness or suffering when you cannot get them.
So when I feel it, I must contemplate, is it really worthy of wanting? What's the flip side? Like,
yeah, that's right. What's the dark side?
What's the dark side? Okay.
Yeah. Everything is like addiction.
Everything.
Once you have it, you want to keep having it all the time. And then one day you might not be able to get it. Then that's when the dark side comes out.
Right? So it's like,
So it's better not to be relying on anything to make you happy. Just rely on equanimity, just to remain calm and not craving for anything. That's the goal, is to stop all our cravings through mindfulness and wisdom. First, you need to develop mindfulness to have equanimity, to be able to resist your craving. And you need the teaching, the Four Noble Truths, to see that the craving is the one that's causing you dissatisfaction, discontent. And regardless of how much you crave, what you get, how much you get, you will never ever be satisfied. You're keeping craving for more and more. So the only way to get rid of craving is to stop craving, not to do what craving asks you to do.
so see it arise and be quick enough to catch it. And
Yes.
yeah.
And stop it by saying what you go after is suffering sooner or later.
So on that note then, obviously I do give in to many cravings. So is it a good thing to then look back and say, okay, I know I gave into that craving then. Like, does that help?
It helps tell you that you keep on continuing with your cravings.
Right.
Your craving doesn't bring you any satisfaction or contentment. You keep want to crave for more and more. You have this cup of tea today, and tomorrow you want another cup, and the next day you want another cup. If you stop, then when you stop craving today, not taking another cup of tea, then tomorrow the strength of your craving become less and less, and eventually you don't even feel anything, any need for the tea anymore. But you also have to see that the tea is impermanent. What happens if you want to have a cup of tea and there's no tea available for you?
Yeah, so then I'm stuck with that craving, which is that same problem.
Craving, you're stuck with suffering, dissatisfaction.
Satisfaction.
So it's better not to rely on anything to make you happy.
So we are all addicted in the large global sense.
Everything, sensual pleasure. We are addicted to sensual pleasure.
Yes.
Okay. But you can use jhana to replace your sensual pleasure. So whenever you crave for anything, you go into meditation instead. And tell yourself everything is impermanent and it can cause you dukkha, suffering sooner or later if you are attached to them. So it's better to rely on jhana itself. Jhana, you can always have it all the time once you know how to get there. So when you want a cup of tea, it means it's time for you to meditate.
Right.
When you want to watch a movie, it's time to meditate.
Okay. So any sensual desire,
You replace it with jhana, with meditation.
right? Mm.
And eventually you'll be very proficient in your meditation. Then you don't need anything else.
Okay, that's a good way to try and develop it. Okay.
You have to change your pleasure from the sensual pleasure to meditation pleasure.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to work on that this week.
Yeah.
I will.
Try to set a challenge. Maybe stop drinking tea forever. Every time you want a cup of tea, go meditate for 15 minutes.
Right. Okay. I will see how it goes this week.
If your mind is strong enough to resist the craving for tea or not.
I don't know, but I will give it a shot. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Something I will learn from it, I'm sure. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ajaan. Thank you.
Next, Lynn from Indonesia. What's your challenge this time? You have any challenge to?
Good evening, Ajaan. Me, to keep my mind to be mindful all the time. That's a challenge.
Yeah, you need to set a challenge so that you know whether you're succeeding or not.
Yes. No, I haven't been successful with that. So it's quite hard, especially if we work. We have so many things that we need to handle and do.
Yeah.
And our mind is always engaging with other things and people.
Yes, life of household is always very confusing, very disturbing.
Yes.
So it's better to take a monastic life.
Yeah, it's very inspiring, and I'm inspired to take that path, but we'll see when the time comes. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to set up a goal and then work toward the goal. Maybe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, or whenever. Yeah. This is gonna be another challenge for you also.
Yes, I do have a goal though. Yeah, but I'll let you know when it comes.
Good. You don't have to tell me, but you know.
I need your guidance, so I will let you know. Yeah, I've got one question for this evening, Ajahn. So, what is the definition of a good monastery to stay for long term?
It's a place where you can meditate and do nothing else.
Okay. But sometimes in the monastery, it's not only meditation. We still need to engage with the sangha and the people and the community.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a good meditation monastery, then you have to go look for a monastery that doesn't engage with anybody.
Mm.
I was fortunate to get to Long Tam Mahaprabhu's monastery because he didn't allow monks to engage with anybody. Only allow monks to go out in the morning for alms round, and after coming back to the monastery, they're not having any contact with any people. You know, even among monks, once they finish their work, everyone goes separate, go to their own place and meditate. And Ajaan Mahaprabhu occasionally will walk around the monastery to make sure that nobody is engaged with anybody else.
Mm.
It's very hard to find monastery like that.
That's true.
Because if you're not truly enlightened yet, you still feel obligated to socialize with the community, with people, and especially the lay supporters.
Yes, that's true.
But if you're enlightened, you know that you don't need to socialize with them. You know, it's better for you to practice to become enlightened. Then you can become more useful to them rather than being useful by socializing with them. So look for monastery in which they support or encourage you to live in seclusion. So you can meditate all the time, practice mindfulness all the time. That's the true purpose of becoming a monastic, really, is to have the time and place to practice. Excuse me.
I noticed that some people, they practice as a hermit. So is it better to practice as a hermit or as part of a sangha? Yeah.
Well, see, practice alone is not enough. You need teaching also. So you need to live in a community where there's a teacher who can direct you, who tells you what to do, what not to do. If you're a hermit, if you rely on your instinct, then it can be your defilement instinct, not the Buddha's instinct. So you need to live with a teacher when you're starting. The monastic, the Vinaya, the rules require that a new monk has to study with a teacher for 5 years, stay with a teacher for 5 years first, before he can go become a monastic, if he wants to go live alone. He first have to learn the basic of how to become a monk, how to practice properly first. Once you have the 5 years, or maybe for some people they might need longer, right? Until they are grounded in what they're supposed to do with sila, with samadhi, and wisdom. Once they know all this, then they can go and practice alone. But if you don't know how to keep the sila, how to meditate, how to develop wisdom, then it's not time for you to go practice alone.
It has to be after a few years. Like
After a few, usually monks over 10 years or more, they will then maybe from time to time they might go and wandering in the forest by themselves for the purpose of having real seclusion and also having real danger, to instill some fear and some dukkha in their mind, so that they will then have to use Dhamma to suppress this fear or dukkha.
So Tudong practice is not compulsory, but it is something that people want to see if they have seen the anicca dukkha anatta. Is that right?
For forest monks, they all use the Dhutanga practice as the support for, because Dhutanga practice can be very useful for your practice. Help push your practice further ahead. So if you want to start as a monastic, you have to look for a teacher who is, if he or she is enlightened, then that's the best teacher for you.
But sometimes it's hard to know that if the teacher is enlightened or not.
Well, you have to study, you have to, there are ways to learn which one is which, by just asking, talking to people who know these teachers. They can confirm which teacher is good, which teacher is not so good. It takes time for you. You might have to go from different monastery to try out which different teacher first, until you eventually find the right one for you.
Okay.
I was fortunate. I went there, I found my first teacher. The first place I went, I found the right place and the right teacher for me. So I didn't have to go anywhere else. I didn't know any other teacher. I only studied with Ajaan Mahabur for 8.5 years before I left and stay on my own, practice on my own. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dhanajan, for your guidance.
But first you need the community of the Sangha to support your development.
Mm.
Sangha, I mean enlightened Sangha, not just ordinary Sangha.
So the bigger the Sangha is, the better?
Not the bigger, but the higher attainment is the better. If you can find an Arahant, it's better than having an Anagami as your teacher.
Mm.
But you only need one, really. You don't need so many to be your teacher at the same time. Usually a community of monks is usually headed by an enlightened monk, and the other are students studying with him or her.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank
You're
you. Very
welcome.
clear explanation. Thank you so much, Ajahn.
All right. Next, Gary from Singapore.
Ajahn. I have no questions tonight. Just happy to be listening in.
Okay. Next, Suchi from the UK.
Hello, Dhanajan. I'm happy to be here to mention and thank Professor Kenneth from Switzerland for sending me the Dhamma books when he visited his family in Scotland. He posted them to me in spite of all his busy schedule attending to his mother. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And it brought me great joy and peace, like he wrote. It was arranged by Czech in Canada, and it was requested by my good friend Indira, also from Canada. Thank you for the Dhammadana.
You're welcome.
I have no questions. My meditation practice is sustained, and I'm happy with the progress in that I go into Samadhi fairly fast when I sit. So
Good,
yeah,
very good. Try to do as much samadhi as you can. The more, the better. Try to
yes,
stop
Dhammatalk.
relying on entertainment or sensual pleasure and switch to meditation for pleasure instead. Okay? Because you can
Yes,
always have, once you know how to meditate, you can always have this pleasure from meditation. But if you rely on other things, sometimes they're not always there for you.
yes. And I might run out of time if I don't practice start now.
Yeah. And even if your body gets sick, you can still meditate. Once you know how to meditate, you can always meditate regardless of the condition of your body also.
Yes,
So you can be happy while your body is sick. Yeah.
yes,
Because the mind doesn't get sick with the body, but due to delusion and attachment to the body, causing the mind to become sick with the body. But once you know how to meditate, you can pull the mind away from the body, separate the mind from the body. And the mind can be happy during the time when the body is sick, is not happy. So try to practice as much as possible because you'll need it one day in the future. When you cannot have any other source of happiness, then you can rely on this meditation as your source of happiness.
yes,
Because everything
yes,
is anicca. Okay.
yes, Dhammatalk. Thank you.
To
Thank you, Dhammatalk.
next, B. Ravin from Bangkok.
Good evening, Ajaan. Good to see you.
How are you? Good.
I'm fine, thank you. I'm back in Bangkok now.
Working.
Yes, working.
Mm.
But I will be going back to Pattaya again at the end of the month. So I will see you again, probably early May.
Okay.
It's a holiday, so
Yeah,
will
next
be
month
there.
there's quite a few holidays.
Yes, there's the Labor Day and the Vesak Day.
Mm.
So Prajan, I have a question on Samadhi. I understand you mentioned a lot about Jhana, but I also recall you mentioned about there are 3 types of Samadhi, Kanika, Apana, and Upachara. How do they relate to Jhana?
Well, Kanika and Apana Samadhi refers to the 4th jhana. And Kanika and Apana differs in the duration of this Samadhi. If you enter briefly, it's called Kanika, which is usually for beginners of meditation. They usually can only get into Kanika Samadhi briefly. The mind can enter into Jhana briefly, and then it comes out meditation, comes out Samadhi. But if you keep on practicing more and more, you become more, your mindfulness becomes stronger and stronger, then you can get into Samadhi and remain there longer. Then it's called Apana Samadhi. The 3rd type of Samadhi is Upachara Samadhi. This is the Samadhi that once you enter into Apana Samadhi, you don't remain there. You go out of that and enter into the spiritual world and able to contact the spiritual being. This is the type of Samadhi that gives you psychic power. Able to read the mind of other people, able to contact with the spiritual beings. Like the Buddha, he used this type of Samadhi when he taught the spiritual being, like his mother. But this type of this type of samadhi isn't available to everybody. Usually it's very few people can get into this type of samadhi. So it's not important for the practice of Vipassana to get rid of your defilement. You need the fourth jhana, you need Appana Samadhi for that. So no worry if you cannot enter into this type of samadhi. It's something that you might have already established or developed in your past lives. So when you enter into Appana Samadhi, then your mind can then go into this type of samadhi right away. If your mind doesn't go, then it's okay, no problem. It's safer not to go because you can become delusion. You can become deceived by this psychic power, the thing that is greater than Vipassana.
So Appana Samadhi is a form jhana, but Upachara is a formless jhana.
It's in between there, not formless or form, it's in between. It's not Rupa Jhana, it's not Arupa Jhana, it's somewhere in between there. It goes out of Rupa Jhana, but it doesn't go into Arupa Jhana. It goes into a psychic mode, let's put it that way.
Oh.
Where it is able to read the mind of other mind, be able to communicate with other mental being, spiritual being, or have some psychic power, flying.
So it is not necessary to achieve.
No, not at all. And it can be a distraction if you don't have a good teacher to warn you and to remind you not to get involved with this type of samadhi yet. It's only good after you have become enlightened, then you can use it as a tool to help other beings. Like teaching the spiritual being, you need to have this type of samadhi. And from what I heard, only about 5% of meditators are able to enter into this type of samadhi. But it's only useful for the purpose of helping other people, using it to teach other people. Like Buddha uses psychic power to teach Angulimala by making him not able to catch him even after running after the Buddha.
Oh yes, I remember the story where Angulimala wanted to kill the Buddha, but then the Buddha taught him, and then he turned into an arahant.
Yeah, he tried to chase after the Buddha. He ran as fast as he could, but he could not catch the Buddha. So he eventually asked the Buddha to stop running. Then the Buddha took that instant to teach the Angulimala that I have stopped, it's you who haven't yet stopped. And Angulimala said, how can you say that when I keep running after you and I cannot catch up with you? The Buddha said, I have stopped my defilement. You haven't stopped your defilement yet. So he understood the thing that he should kill, not people, but he should kill his own defilement. So he switched the target of his killing from killing people to kill his own defilement. Once he have done that, then he became enlightened, became an arahant. The Buddha uses psychic power to make people who try to chase after him not able to catch up with him.
Oh, I see. I remember this story. Yes. And then Moggallana also had a lot of psychic powers.
But he could not use it to stop his karma. See? So he decided not to use his karma when the time for him to die. When his old enemy come chase after him, then he said it's time to let the karma take effect. Because if you use your psychic power to run away from it today, they'll come back after you tomorrow. but his mind is pure and his mind not disturbed or affected by the death of his body. So it didn't matter to him whether he died or he lived. But he knew he has to pay the consequence of his bad karma.
So despite being an arahant, the karma still caught up with him.
Yes, as long as you still have the body, you still have to pay the karma can still catch up with you. It's only after you don't have a body anymore, then the karma cannot catch up with you.
Okay, understood.
Okay.
Yes,
Is that
Raja.
all?
That's all for now. Thank you.
Okay.
Satu.
Go to Justine. Hi, Justine.
Good evening, Ajaan.
Yes, are you in California or are you in Canada?
I'm in California right now.
Okay.
So since last week, you told me to mix the food and reduce the pleasant feelings of eating. I tried that and I find it's useful, and also I find that by keeping the heart inside, I'm not so much craving for sensual pleasure. So that's very important. And when I practice outside on a hot day, if there's a breeze, should we let go of that pleasant feeling, seeing it as impermanent, or is it okay to feel relief by that pleasant feeling which arises spontaneously?
Just don't react, just merely know them for what they are. Don't indulge, don't react. Just know that, okay, it's a relief, but it's okay if it doesn't happen also. Just to merely acknowledging, merely knowing, without having any reaction toward them.
But the mind seems to, react to that like spontaneously.
That's because you haven't yet reached the fourth jhana, equanimity. That's why you have to practice until you have equanimity. Then you will then remain non-reacting.
Okay. Okay, and about spending time in a monastery, if being a monastic, do you think it's necessarily the case that we have to deal with other people, if it's a big sangha, or is it better to actually practice on your own because there are less people to deal with?
Well, to be able to join a community of sangha will free you from the worry of supporting yourself with the four requisites. Yeah. If you practice alone, then you have to have some source of revenue, right? Income to keep supporting you. But how long can you have this revenue to support you? But if you enter into the community of sangha like me, I don't have to worry about having any income at all for the rest of my life. So it's better to join a community if you can, if you have to, if you think of long-term or permanent monastic life, then it's better to live with a sangha community, some form of community, because then you'll be supported for the rest of your life. As far as the four living requisite is concerned, then you won't have to worry about how much you have to save, how much you have to spend, and so forth. And then you can then devote all your time for meditation practice. When I was a layman, I also thought of practicing alone because I don't like to be in a community because there are rules and regulations you have to follow. See, but then I ran out of option. I had to join the community if I want. But then after I have joined, I find it very, very useful, very profitable to join a community. You might have to sacrifice some of your freedom, but what you get back is much more beneficial than the freedom you have to give up. And actually the freedom is your defilement freedom, not your Dhamma freedom anyway.
And you don't think there's a lot of like mental burden of having to deal with a lot of people every day?
Well, you go to a monastery where there are very, very few people, maybe 4 or 5 people living in the monastery. You don't have to go to a big monastery with 10, 20, 100 people around you. There's a small monastery in which you can stay with a teacher, a few monks, and maybe just a few nuns. Like last 2 weeks, we have the lady from Spain who wants us to try Ajaan Martin. Ajaan Martin I heard his monastery is very small, maybe just a few monks there. You have to look for monastery like that to practice. Don't go after a famous teacher in which they have so many other disciples, followers. And the temple, the monastery can be huge and with many people. Go to a small one, a quiet one, in which you don't have to do much of any extracurricular activity. So you can spend most of your time for meditation practice.
Thank you, Tanaja.
Okay, is that all?
Yes.
All right, next, Samanji. Sorry about the last 2 weeks you couldn't join us.
Yes. Actually, I tried to join late, but I was not allowed in because there were so many
Yeah,
people waiting.
we only have so much time. We don't
I
want to
know.
drag it down to over the time limit. So any question from you tonight?
Nice seeing you today. Today I have 2 questions, Ajaan. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Can a country remain poor because of the collective karma of its people? Collective bad karma.
Well, this is a question the Buddha says incomprehensible for us. So don't worry about it.
Okay. And Tanajan, my next question is, how can we prove that rebirth is real? I mean, when a person is hypnotized and he speaks about past lives, does that count as scientific evidence that rebirth is real?
Well, first of all, you have to know whether the person is speaking the truth or not.
Okay.
If the person speaks the truth, then okay, past life has been told, been talked about. Even the Buddha himself talked about his past life before.
Okay.
In order for us to be able to actually remember past life, we have to get into this psychic mode of samadhi. Otherwise, we would not be able to recollect past lives.
I heard that when a person is hypnotized, like usually they speak about their past lives. I don't know to what extent this is correct. I read that somewhere.
No, don't worry about them. Just using the Kalama Sutta, you don't have to believe everything that you hear until you can prove it otherwise.
Yeah, thank you. And my next question is, when a person or a loved one is going through a difficult time, especially with illness, Buddhists often recite protective, pirit, such as Antaraya Nivarana Sutta. Can preaching pirit or can chanting pirit truly help to bestow merit on a person who is sick?
No, the person who is sick should be the one who do the chanting.
Okay.
Because this is a way of developing mindfulness and meditation. See? So that when the mind becomes calm, then the mind is not affected by the illness of the body.
Yeah, other person can't do it on behalf of him because he's physically sick.
Well, if you can listen to that person chanting and use that, then not thinking about other things, you can also, maybe the other person can chant for that person, but the person who listens must listen must listen with mindfulness and not thinking about other things while listening to the chanting. And the mind can also become calm and makes the mind more peaceful and less tormenting.
Thanajan. And also, Thanajan, is it possible to extend one's lifespan by maybe releasing animals that are there for slaughter, animals to be slaughtered by releasing them? Is it possible to extend one's lifespan through the merit one gains from that?
The Buddha said the only way to extend a person's lifetime is you have to have developed the four iddhipada, Chanta, Viriya, Citta, Vimamsa, the four mental faculty or four mental powers.
Okay, he can do it during this particular birth.
This particular life, yeah, yes.
Okay, this way.
Like the Buddha said, had he wanted to, he could extend his life for another 20 years. But then he first have to have somebody to support him, to look after his body for him. See? And he talked to Ananda about this. His Ananda didn't get the message, and then asked the Buddha to extend his life. So the Buddha said it's probably maybe Ananda didn't want to serve him anymore. So then the Buddha said he didn't want to impose upon Ananda to have to serve him for another 20 years or so. So then he decided not to use his mental power to extend his life.
Okay, Thanajan, my last question is like when we meditate, sometimes we hear unusual sounds that are not real. Such thing, I mean, those sounds do not come from our surroundings, but somehow we tend to hear sounds. Is it some sort of an influence, or why do such sort of things happen when we try to concentrate?
You don't need to know anything about them. What you need to know is how to deal with them. And the way to deal with them is to ignore them.
Just to ignore them. Okay.
Yeah. They are all distractions to your meditation.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Thanajan, that's
Just
all
stay
I have.
just stay focused on your meditation object.
Okay.
If you're watching your breath, just keep watching your breath. If you're reciting a mantra, just reciting a mantra, and ignore everything that appears during your meditation.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice talking to you. That's all I have for today, Thanajan.
Okay.
Wish you good health and thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
You're welcome. Next, Katrina from Australia. Hi, Katrina. Long time.
Hi, John. Nice to see you. I don't have any questions. I just joined. I just wanted to join.
Okay. Just enjoying listening to our talk.
Yeah, it's really calming actually. I'm feeling a bit agitated and like I guess some physical pain. Actually, do you think that like say I've got a sore shoulder, do you think that it's do you think that things like that are emotional, holding on to emotions, or do you think that they are or do you think it doesn't matter?
You mean your physical illness? Yeah.
Or just like discomforts and
Yeah, they can cause your mind to become irritated, agitated, because your mind wants everything to be smooth, nice and easy, but sometimes things don't go nice and easy, so the mind react negatively. So become restless or agitated or disturbed. But if you know how to practice mindfulness, you can curb this reaction and separate the mind from the body. Leave the body alone. Don't react to the body conditions.
yeah, because I feel like if I did a meditation retreat for like 2 weeks or something, everything fixes in my body.
That's right. So you need to do it all the time if you want to fix your body all the time.
Okay. Thanks, Ajahn.
Try to meditate every day. Every day, if you can, your meditation can help calm your mind and keep your mind more safe from pain, from disturbance, from agitation and restlessness. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nothing. No question. Huh? Okay. Good to see you.
Thank you. You too.
Next, Belinda from Singapore.
Namaskar, Ajahn. I'm listening in.
Okay. You look
Thank you.
happy. You look happy. You're smiling. No reason to be sad, right? When you enter this room, this is a happy room.
Yes.
Huh?
Mm.
Okay.
Thank you,
Good.
Ajahn.
You're welcome. Diana from King City, Canada.
Namo Buddhaya, Ajaan Suchart.
Yes, what can I do for you?
Yeah, we had a long weekend here in Canada for the Good Friday and Easter Sunday, so lots of people went to see their families. And I went to see my mom with my daughter. And in my mind, I've really said to just, be the servant. Be the servant.
Yes.
And also, like, my daughter turned 8 now, so she's also. I spoke to her that we are going there to serve my mom, and it was a good, like, it was successful. It was successful. Like, surprisingly, my mom actually didn't ask too many things. She actually wanted to do more things for my daughter. So we just went ahead and did those things, and she wasn't like too critical or too demanding. Yeah, it was like a very it was a nice surprise.
Yeah, when you don't expect anything, then they come up. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see her a long time actually. Yeah, because last time we went there, it was my daughter's birthday, and I had so many expectations, but somehow she was just needed to do. I can't remember what happened exactly, but it was kind of like opposite. Yes, my mom is. I have some questions. My mom is experiencing like more physical discomfort than usual because she sometimes when I catch her off guard, she shares about it. Like yesterday, I saw she has a hole in her toe and it's like oozing because her joint popped. So it's like very unfortunate because in order, like it's too tiny, too small for operation, but it prevents her from walking, and that's what she has found her refuge in from her emotions, because she doesn't meditate. Although she walks and it helps her, but now like she had to reduce her walking because I was surprised that she didn't. So she admitted that there was this hole in her toe and it was oozing water, and then each time it is healed, she can't allow for it to be healed because the liquid has to have an opening to come out. So now she has to live with this pain because it's kind of like part of the aging. And the operation, she said, is not really like that good or possible because it's like joints, right? So if it's not this joint, it's going to happen to the next joint. Like she's encountering this dukkha, right? And she talks about it to me. And then she talks about the pains on her scalp that she has, like her skin is always itchy. And then I don't know, I can't remember if I mentioned to you that she had an operation on her belly. They had to cut out the intestine due to the ulcers. So she has this bag that she is always like changing, and the skin. Anyway, so like when I counted, she had like these 5 things that are preventing her from any kind of mindfulness. And I've been sort of like focusing on not, teaching or lecturing her anything. But this weekend, before we went to see her, we were at the monastery for the children's English program, and I heard something that if the parents don't know about Dhamma, that we could like share with them a little bit about it. And I wanted to ask you about it because anytime I have shared about it before, she was very resistant to it. Just because I mentioned it, she didn't want to have anything to do with it. She has come around a little bit, so I'm just like wondering, like, if I was to suggest something for her, like, what could it be? Like, which kind of meditation could be beneficial when she's like so distracted by her aching and paining?
Well, if you don't know, then it's not your position to teach her what to do. Because by asking me, you give, and then you tell her my answer, it's not good enough.
Right. Okay.
You have to know yourself how to deal with this situation, and then you can then recommend this to her from your own personal experience, not from me.
Yeah. So like, so I can just go ahead and try this and try that and see what she likes and see what she doesn't, like that kind of thing, like just from me.
Well, first of all, you have to first ask her if she likes your advice or not first.
Right. Right.
Like you want to offer her a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, you ask her first, right? Would you like a cup of tea or a cup of coffee? Same way with Dhamma, ask her, would you like me to recommend some method that I use that is useful for me?
Okay. Yeah, I could ask her if she would like some advice. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Also, like, I got some. We at the Sri Lankan monastery that we visit, we were able to organize some of this Jataka book literature, and like everybody was happy. It's like this Dharma publishing company in the States somewhere. So my daughter's now reading because I was looking for ways to bring more mindfulness in my daughter's life. So that's kind of what organized. I was just wondering about, I was remembering this book. I was at your monastery a long time ago in 2016.
Yes.
Many years ago. And this was the first book that I read when I was there, was The Essential Pleasures Are Painful.
Okay.
And I opened it, and it's got like so many different notes. It's all used up. Is it possible, like how would I go about getting this kind of literature again to share, like with the monastery where I am at? And would it be appropriate to share things like that with monks, for example?
Well, Dhamma is good for anybody. It's just whether, yeah.
Is there any kind of restrictions on what the monks can read?
Well, they're not supposed to read worldly stuff, like entertainment, or fashion, or anything, travel, or anything like that. They're supposed to only read about Dhamma teaching.
So Dhamma books written by other monks is okay?
It's okay if they want to, if they like to, but if they don't want to, then they just might just put it away once you give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
But right now you can read this book online. If you go into my website, pastorchad.com, and you go to the book section, and then you can download the book. It's in PDF file, I think, but not in the hardcover form that you have.
So no more is
sure.
available.
I'm not sure. Maybe you have to ask one of my assistants who.
Okay, I'll ask. Okay. My practice has dwindled a little bit this past 2 weeks. I've, just somewhere there's a little bit better, somewhere there's a little worse. Like I've tried to release some tensions, and the discipline suffered a little bit. So I'm just trying to figure out a way how to get back to not just the mindfulness, but the sitting practice without bringing back with it the same tension and the same reacting. the same attachment. I haven't gotten there yet. I figured that eventually I'll get there. But I really enjoyed listening to the tea talk, suggestions you said. So my question is, so after the meal, is it not okay to have tea in the evening? I thought the liquids were okay.
If you want to drink for your body, just take plain water. The taste of tea is essential pleasure. See? So it's a form of addiction.
Yeah. What if it was like more for digestion?
Well,
Like
it was medical reason. Yes, you can use it.
yeah, for digestion.
Well, if it's medical, if it's real, or you just try something you're trying to justify, I'm not sure.
Sometimes when we like at the monastery have like heavy foods like rice and oils, then I also tend to crave the tea because I don't like the heavy feeling inside the stomach, to be honest. But usually when it's just me eating at home, my foods are more plainer and simpler, then I don't need the tea, to be honest. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed you last week. I think a lot of people were in line and I missed my time in queue.
Okay. Is that all for the question you have for today?
I think I'm just distracted by reshuffling my schedule. I had some question about like I was very troubled with my work this past week, this past month actually, because I learned some things that were out of my control. And if I were to be on, but I think after listening to today's talk, I've realized that I just need to be just honest with the person and not be controlling so much, because I was trying to figure out how to I was somehow demoted in work, which I didn't know. And it's not very it's not based on actual facts, but I was caught up in whether to prove myself and talk and explain more, but then I pulled back and just tried to just accept it. So I did that, and now I wasn't really wanting to engage again, because each time I went to engage, I felt like a lot disturbed. So then I had to, so then I was stuck. I didn't know if I should engage and be disturbed or like stay mindful and peaceful. So now I stayed mindful and peaceful, but the issue hasn't been resolved, and I have to decide it today.
Which is better? Peaceful.
Mindful and peaceful.
Okay. All right.
But it's difficult, because that means I just have to be releasing the position and then maybe opening up the space for another position that would be more less tension. I'm not sure actually. So
the Buddha said, if you have to choose between being peaceful, having a peaceful mind, and having money, or even having your life, he said it's better to give up your money and give up your life just to protect your peacefulness.
Okay, well, I really appreciate this little bit of because it was just a little bit of that I was missing to just send that letter today. Just I wrote it a few times, and it was just like some fear was there, like of releasing. But then when I was staying in the situation, I knew I had to release it, because it wasn't as we agreed initially as I thought. It was just like it was very strange, but some professionals explained to me, because from time to time people are stuck and they want to have people that they can like in case of emergencies can use, but then at the same time they can be held responsible for things that they're not responsible for. And that's what happened in my situation. Like I was being held responsible for things that weren't my responsibility, but still it was kind of like suggested over and over. So then all I can do is leave, because like otherwise I'm just staying in that situation, and then they could blame me for some accident or something like that. That has been kind of like the outcome. Yeah, but I really like what you share about like keeping the peacefulness of the mind, and just maybe being just human and honest, and not thinking too much about like staying in control. How people say like don't burn your bridges, like like that.
Yeah, just accept your fate, accept your karma. If this is gonna happen, then it just your karma that it should happen.
Oh, okay. Okay. That sounds good. I can do
Okay.
that actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. So hopefully next week that would be like, you know, away from my head.
Yeah, it's your karma that you have to face this situation. Accept it.
Yeah. Yeah. And just not be sad.
Not be sad, not reacting, not trying to change or control the situation. Just try to flow with the situation.
Yeah. Just like be honest and say, oh, well, good luck. Thank you so much. I hope you find someone else. Okay. Yeah. That sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Good.
And I hope I can add to my practice more this next week.
Yeah.
Because
you have to look in the long run, and eventually you're gonna have lose everything anyway. All you have left is your mind. This
Yeah.
only thing that you will never lose is your mind. But everything else you're gonna lose. Your money, your wealth, your body, your daughter, your mother, everything.
Yeah, those things are very painful. Even as I was listening to your sharing with this, having a sick body, but yet having a happy mind. I discovered I have some kind of infection within my body, so that needs like treatment, and that's been part of the reason why my immune has been down, why I've been getting sick so much all winter. So that's also like, I have to be. I was unpleasant like in the beginning to find that out, but we'll just go with the process and see like what can be done.
Yeah, let go of your attachment, but do whatever you can with your body, but don't expect anything from it.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be better, fine. If it's gonna be worse, that's okay also. Just take things as they come, so you can have a peaceful mind.
Yeah, the mind is very attached to not having things this way suddenly.
That's why you have dukkha. That's why you have suffering. Because you cannot accept things as they are.
Yeah, because it kind of came out of the blue, just.
This is anicca. Everything come out of the blue. You just haven't thought about it, that's all. But if you thought about it, anything can happen.
Yeah, they said it's really impossible to locate it sooner and things like that. So, okay, in the summer I'm going to see the specialist, so I'll find out, like if indeed like what the result would be. Hopefully, like if the inflammation, if they're able to clear the inflammation, that means my health will restore slowly.
But you have to look at the long term also. Then eventually you're gonna die anyway.
Yes. It's just making a lot of limitations in terms of like when I'm sick, I can't go places, I have to stay home and things like that. Just like more like to function in this world. But you're right. Yes, of course.
I mean, you can do anything, but don't lose your mind over them. That's all.
Okay. So not be depressed about it.
Yeah, just you can do anything, but don't be depressed or being anxious or worried.
Yeah, I was feeling sad about it. I was just like disappointed.
Because in the end, you're gonna lose the body anyway, right?
Right. So what's the big deal about not losing it now? It's tricky.
Right. If you have to, if it should happen, let it happen.
Okay.
As long as you stay peaceful and calm, that's the goal of life, really, to keep the mind peaceful and calm at all times, under all situations.
Okay. I will try to apply because there's lots of waiting in that process.
Okay, just practice mindfulness. The more mindfulness you have, the more equanimity you have, then the more you will be able to let go.
Yeah, but since that situation happened, I really noticed like just craving for the sensual pleasures. Like someone was sharing like something in the evening, all of a sudden I wanted, like more visual stimulation I wanted. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try to restore.
Replace them with meditation.
Yes.
Okay. When you want sensual pleasure, say, it's better to meditate.
Yeah. I was listening to the Insta. It was like you were speaking to me.
I'm speaking to everybody. Everybody has the same problem. Central pledge.
Yes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna reread this, and I was just I'm gonna contact the administrator to
Yeah,
see if I
central
can.
pleasures are painful, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Nice talking to you.
No, we're very happy to be here.
Okay, next we'll go to Oregon to Steph. Hi, Steph.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. I don't have much to say. I'm coming into a like a busy period, and I'm noticing I can understand Diana, like the stress, but I am noticing that I'm able to see that I'm reacting out of habit. So that's been good, and I'm able to like calm myself down. So I'm not able to like not be stressed, but I'm able to notice that I'm having a habitual reaction to being busy. So maybe that's good.
At least it's the starting point to be able to
Start,
see it.
okay.
Yeah. And not trying to curb your busyness down.
Well, having children makes that hard. I can't just kick them out of the house. Like
No,
we're coming up.
you do what you have to do, but don't do what you don't have to do. That's all.
Oh, that is true. That is very true. Yeah. I definitely like worry unnecessarily about like social world stuff where it's their lives, not mine. You know what I mean? Like it's their life to live. I don't need to take that on. So I don't know. But
Always come back to the soap bubble if you can remember.
yes.
We are like soap bubbles. One day it's gonna disappear.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all for today. Thank you very much. It's just good
Okay,
to see
you're
you.
welcome. Next, Jason from Brazil. Hi, Jason. Is this your first time joining us?
Hi, Ajaan. No, it's I was at the monastery back in October, and I was in Florida, but I've been traveling for 3 months.
Okay, I remember.
Last time I came in, I think I was in Guatemala, and yeah, so that's me. Yeah, it's nice to see you, and I've been quite active. I'm going back to the States tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. Have things be a little bit slower, a little simpler, less on the go. There's certainly challenges, like I still maintain a practice, but it's certainly more challenging not devoting as much time to it as I do when I'm home in my routine. So I'm looking forward to settling and having that time to decompress. So that's I leave today and I do a red eye, so I get back tomorrow.
Okay.
And I think lately I've been trying to remind myself to focus on the breath rather than trying to think my way through problems. Like my tendency is to think that it's the path is thinking my way through, and I see the value of like directed thought and evaluation, but I'm working with trying to just let the breath dissolve the situation that I find myself in, not trying to always have to have the answer or discover the answer. And I find that I'm getting some results from that it can all of a sudden vanish. Like, so maybe I'm caught up in something, and then I say, well, I don't need to keep thinking about this. I don't need to necessarily figure it out. Let me focus on the breath. And then the next thing I'm on to something else. So I've been kind of working with that and trying to have a little bit of mindfulness about having mindfulness, reminding myself like, hey, there's this mindfulness practice and I want to be more active in that practice. So those are some things kind of going on lately to speak on. And yeah, nice to be here and nice to see you.
Okay, good to see you too. Keep up with your mindfulness practice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Next, Intan from Indonesia. Intan.
Good evening, Ajaan. Ajaan, I want to ask how I reduce my soft sensor pressure.
By keeping the 8 precepts. Can you keep the 8 precepts?
Okay.
Then you cannot watch YouTube, you cannot watch entertainment, you cannot eat after midday. Okay, this is one way of reducing your sensual pleasures. Then you have more time to meditate.
No, Ajaan, it's not sensor pressure. If hard sensor pressure, I think I can cut a lot, but I realize when I meditate, I still have a soft sensor pressure. So how to cut the soft sensor pressure?
By just being mindful of your meditation object. Come back to Bhutto, or coming back to your breath and ignore the pleasure that arises.
Okay.
Don't pay attention
Understand,
to them.
Ajaan.
Okay. And when you can calm your mind, then everything will disappear. And then you'll be in emptiness, peaceful and happy with emptiness. And emptiness is the best form of happiness, the Buddha say.
Yes.
Okay. Everything else is
Okay.
painful. Everything else is painful because everything is impermanent. Everything is not under your control. All right? So try seek emptiness. Be alone.
All right. Understand, Ajaan.
Keep being mindful. Stop
Yeah.
everything from arising in your mind, like by focusing on your meditation object. Okay. Or you can use the mantra Bhutto,
Understand,
Bhutto.
Ajaan.
Okay, good. Is that all?
Okay.
Okay, I'll
Yes.
go to Nining now.
Okay.
Do
Thank
you
you,
know Nining physically? Have you met her personally?
Yeah, Ajahn. Good evening, then Ajahn.
Okay.
Ajahn.
You know Intan, you met her?
Yeah, I met her when I first time want to do pindapata in front of the hotel. She called me, Nining, Nining, and I'm surprised and I'm very happy at the time. I feel I have friend.
That was your first time to meet her.
Yeah, that's the first time.
I see, good.
Yeah, Ajahn, I'm happy today, and I feel happiness of letting go of my hair.
I see. You have shorter now, huh?
Yeah, and like what I did for years, that 1 month before Wesak Day, I keep 8 precept. So now I keep my precept until Wesak 12 May.
Good.
And then Ajahn, I want to ask, since I feel the happiness of letting go of my hair, and my big homework right now is maybe I'm not ready to separate from my mom. I mean, if one day, my mother passed away, so what feeling that I should have? Should I be neutral or what? Because I have to teach my mind from now.
Teach your mind to be neutral.
Neutral.
Equanimity, not reacting to her. Whether she is alive or she is dead, considered to be equal.
And then if I succeed, if I'm success of having the natural feeling, and then it means that I'm ready to let go, to be separated with my mom. So at that time, is it polite if I have this kind of happiness, like I'm letting go of my hair, or just neutral?
You same feeling of letting go of your hair.
Oh.
You feel happy. But it doesn't mean that you don't have any love for her, or you still have loving kindness, you still have compassion for her, but you're just not worried about her anymore. She
Yeah,
can
that's
live, or she can die.
oh, I see. That's
But,
why I'm
but you have no worry about her anymore. Like your hair. You don't worry about your hair anymore, right?
yeah.
Okay.
That's why. Oh, I understand now, Ajahn.
You have the same feeling.
Yeah.
The more you let go of your attachment, you have received a similar feeling of peace and happiness.
That's why many times I never tell to anybody about what I feel, because sometimes for society, I think it's not polite if we feel happy.
That's right. People feel that you have to be attached. You have to have,
Yeah, I have to be sad almost all the time. That's why it reflects that it's gratitude to my mother. That's what society believe in my society, like that. Ajahn.
Well, outside you appear to be normal. You show your good relationship with your mother, but inside your mind is not worry about her. That's all.
Yeah, because not reflect our feeling. It needs ability also. I mean, I have to teach the mind to be able to be fluent to not open my feeling to others.
That's why you don't tell people about your feeling, but it's for your own information.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not for you to tell other people unless they have the similar problem with you, and you can tell them that it's better to give up than cling to. When you cling to things, you're stressful. When you give up, or when you let go, you become peaceful.
Yeah, that's right, Ajahn. That's why thank you for the teaching, because I get more strong every day.
Good. Okay. Keep
Yeah,
up
thank
with
you.
your practice.
Yeah, keep on my practicing.
Maybe next time I see you, you'll shave your head.
Oh yeah, of course. I one day I will show Ajahn that. That's why I think I want to spend maybe 1 month in Kauchion, but they only allow just 12 days, maybe if longer, so I can fully. I mean, I will be fully practice and also shave my hair.
Well, you can shave anywhere. You don't need to be fully practiced. You can die anytime, anywhere, right? So you can choose a place or time to die. So you can give up your hair anytime. You don't need to wait until you go up to the monastery to do it.
Yeah, but what about if I because so many people surprised of when I cut my hair, so I make it slowly so they don't be surprised too much.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn.
You're welcome. Next, Nita and Saket. You have your mother with you?
Namaskaram, Ajahn. Yes, that's right. My mother's also joined us today.
Hello, how are you?
How are you?
I'm fine, Bhante.
Okay. Does she speak English?
Yes. My mother speaks English. She's saying she's fine.
Okay.
And when I had told her in my interest of becoming Buddhist, then actually my older brother was a monk for a brief period. So my mother was a little scared I'll also become a monk.
I see. There's nothing wrong with becoming a monk. A monk is a good person, a better person even.
Ajahn is saying a monk is a good person.
Yes.
It's-
Now I'm learning from my son.
Yeah. It's not if he's gonna be a drunk, then that's you have to worry. But if he's gonna be a monk, you shouldn't worry.
While be a drug addict, you should be worried. But as a monk, yes. Thank you so much, Ajahn. today Mom sat and listened to the whole discourse. I'm of course very happy about it, and then I'll look forward to hearing.
Okay, don't crave, no craving, just take things as they come.
Yes, yes.
Did she enjoy the talk so far?
Have you enjoyed the talk so far?
It was very nice.
Okay.
I've done so many things.
Do you have anything you like to ask?
Do you have any question now?
Yeah, I'll ask later on.
Okay.
She'll probably ask next time, Ajaan.
Okay, maybe. All right. What about you two? You have any question?
No question for Ajahn, but I just took a resolution that I will give up my evening tea after listening to the conversation. Recently, I gave up coffee, and there were a lot of withdrawal symptoms.
Yes.
But yes, evening tea I will start again. I'll give it up and see how it goes.
Okay.
I have learned one thing.
Yes.
I have learned that I was craving for these because I needed more energy, and then I was looking for alternate sources of how can I get that energy that the coffee or the tea gives. And I learned that pranayam and the breathing exercises do actually give me that energy that I need. And
That's right.
I've started doing more of the breathing exercises. Whenever I need energy, I do breathing exercises, and so I'm thinking I'll become more regular with it in the evening when I crave for tea.
Yeah. Mindfulness is the one that gives you the energy.
Yes. So
Okay.
keep
Good.
developing stronger mindfulness.
Yeah, keep letting go of everything else.
Gradually.
Ask yourself whether you need this thing or not. If you don't need it, give it up.
Okay.
If you don't,
Okay.
give it up.
Yes. I don't need it. Thank you, Ajahn.
You're welcome. How about you, Saket? Any question?
I just wanted to thank all the other participants because the discussion today was really wonderful. Just learned so much today. And definitely, whenever sensual desire comes up, it's time to meditate. I think that's something I will contemplate on and try to meditate more with that. Yes.
It means your mind needs pleasure, but you usually give them the mind the wrong type of pleasure. Instead of pleasure from meditation, you give it the sensual pleasure, which is an addiction. Okay. All right, fine. This way we'll encourage you to do more meditation also, right? Give up sensual pleasure and replace it with meditation pleasure.
Thank you very much, Ajahn.
Okay, you're welcome. Next, we'll go to Kunjup now for more questions from email.
Namaskar,ท่านอาจารย์ค่ะ. We have 5 questions this evening and 1 question from the assistant Gmail. The first question is from Charles Tito from New York. What is the difference between the second Arupa Jhana of boundless knowing and Appana Samadhi, where everything disappears except knowingness?
I think Appana Samadhi starts from the 4th jhana, and it goes all the way up to the Arupa jhana also. But for practice of Vipassana, you don't need to go into the Arupa jhana. So you can just get the 4th jhana is sufficient for your practice of Vipassana. What you need is equanimity from this jhana. And you start to have equanimity from the 4th jhana and up to the Arupa jhana.
The next question is from Charmaine Turner-Smith. Grab Namaskaran, Pra Ajahn. Thank you for your wisdom. As a layperson and meditation instructor of lay people, I am often asked how to practice Buddhism and meditation while still fulfilling their responsibilities to their children, spouse, and jobs. They struggle with depression. They feel they are caught in between both paths. What advice do you give?
Well, you have to keep time for whatever you have to do. See? You don't devote all your time on one thing alone. So you have to have time to devote to your family. You have to have time to devote to your own need also. So just you have to know how to manage the time properly.
The last three questions are from Pauline Soon. I noticed that it is very hard for lay people to practice to get enlightenment. Can Ajahn please give guide?
Well, you can practice occasionally in a monastery. You go into a meditation retreat from time to time first. And then when your mind becomes stronger and your practice become more strong, then you can maybe eventually become a monastic.
The next question, Ajahn says the meditator cannot practice by himself alone without a teacher unless he already has samadhi to sharpen the mind. Is that true?
Well, even if you have samadhi, you still need a teacher to teach you the wisdom level. Yeah. So you need a teacher as far as Buddhism is concerned. Until only after you become enlightened, then you don't need to have a teacher. You can practice on your own. Once you have attained to the Sotapanna level, you can continue on your practice without a teacher. But the difference will be that if you still have a teacher, your practice might be more easier and faster than if you have to do it on your own.
And the last question, our past life and past parami will duplicate in our present life with regards to practice. Is this true?
Is what you have to accomplish, you don't duplicate it in this life. You have to repeat it. You have to do more practice, or else you will lose it.
That's all, Ka.
Okay. I think that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for your company. I hope this discussion is useful to you and could help you advance in your practice. In the meantime, please stay safe, be mindful, and keep on practicing. And if all goes well, I'll see you all at the same time next week. Thank you and goodbye.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Thank you,
sadhu.
Ajahn.
Thank you, Amin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajan.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Amin. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.